That's what he got. He's got piles of money and nobody to share it with. Nobody to, at the end of the day, say, hey, this happened. And you know, we were done with the keynote for 10 minutes, and my phone vibrated, and it was my wife. How did it go? You know, she's been sitting all day worried about how this thing is going to go, because I've been excited about it, and that's the power of relationships. And those relationships, we have our friends, we have our family, we have our business relationships, and we have our community relationships. We have those 4 things. And if we're willing to work hard for whatever we're doing, and we're willing to work at the relationships, then we end up in a point where we can have success and happiness. Does that make sense? Okay. We all know the guy or girl in the middle there, right? We all know that person in red, or those people in red, who know everybody. They're the center of everything. When people walk in the room, they're always the first one to get up and say, oh yeah, it's my friend. You know, they're the people. And every one of us knows that person. Is that correct? Is that a fair statement? We all know the person who's in the middle. This is the book I was talking about. It's a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. And the book is about social epidemics. He talks about a handful of things. Everything from the hush puppy shoe, which a bunch of hipsters in the village in New York City, they were about to close that company. And these guys and girls started wearing them in the village, and you know, slowly but surely it caught wind, and people started to buy them, and boom, all of a sudden it's a multi-million-dollar company. He talks about in his book 3 different types of people that you need to have in order for a social epidemic to work. It's the connectors, the mavens, and the salespeople. The connectors are the people with the Rolodexes. Does anybody have a Rolodex though? Or the Facebook friends list, or whatever it is, right? Whatever our electronic version of a Rolodex is. The mavens are the people, he calls them the gurus, who learn everything that they possibly can about stuff. So when you need to know about whatever it is, you need to know about the hush puppies, or you need to know about the new electronic thing, or you need to know about the new app, or whatever, that person will be the person. That's your go-to person. That's your knowledge person. And then the salespeople are the people that get out there and sell. They believe in the product, whatever it is, and they get up and they go. And the whole thing is got me thinking even more. So, does everybody have something to write on in front of them? Mm-hmm. Just something you can scribble on real quick. Take 1 second and think about someone who you know that is that connector. That person who's at the center, that person who knows everybody, that person who's whatever. I just want you to write down a couple, 3, 4, 5, whatever, in just a minute of the characteristics that person has. What is that person? What makes them tick? What makes you admire them, if you do? Generally, the person who's the connector is pretty well admired for the most part. That's why they're able to connect. So what are the things, real quick, that you think their characteristics are? And I'm going to take a sip of water while we do that, and then we're gonna do this right now. Then I'm going to finish my workshop. Then we're going to come back to this. So you can keep writing down if I move on. Don't give it too much thought either. Just these kind of things are best when you just take things that rattle off the top of your head. This is not a test. There's no right or wrong answer. And I'm not going to ask any of you to share anything with anybody else unless you want to. So we won't be working our way around the room saying, what did you put? I only do that in high school, and not because I care about their answer, because I like poetry. So I read the book. I was really inspired by the book, and I went back and back. There was an exercise in it where they had picked out, this was not Gladwell that did it, this was somebody else, picked out 250 names at random from the New York City phone book. Open the phone book, pick a name, write it down, 250 names. And then he took it out, or whoever did it, took it out and gave it to people and said, I want you to come up with a score. I want you to tell me how many people you know with that last name. And if one of the last names is Johnson, and you know 5 Johnsons, you get 5 points. If it's Smith, whatever. And then they figured it out, and there was a scale, and it said, if you're you know this many people, you're normal. You know this many people, you need to get out more. If you know this many people, you are, you know, there's a scale graduated up to connector. And I did this thing, and I was way up there. And I realized that I am a connector because this is what I love to do. And I never realized it until I read this book. And I never realized some of the things that I do are absolutely reproducible for people who are not necessarily connectors. And one of the things that it does is it allows you to multiply things. My social media, this is just some quick statistics, this is not bragging. I have 1,600 Facebook followers. These are my primary pages. I have 1,450 Twitter followers and just around 500 LinkedIn followers. And I don't really do anything to try to build those numbers. They just keep going up. This is only my primary page. I run 5, 6, 7 different pages for different things. I have one for school that I don't want my kids at school following me. Not because I do anything that I'm embarrassed about. I do not. I don't want to be in their life. If they then post something that I find offensive or dangerous or anything like that, their parents are paying me 10 grand a year. I feel obligated to call their parents and say, you got to see this picture of your kid on Facebook. So I don't want to be in their lives. That's why I don't take any kids. So I have a Twitter page for that. For my success business, I have a page for that. So these are just the numbers on my primary thing. I am happiest when I am helping somebody out. I'm on the phone frequently. Somebody will call me, they'll need something. I spent a half hour on the phone yesterday with a kid from Wittenberg. I have no idea where the kid got my name, my phone number, whatever. He started with an email, sent me an email, said, I'm thinking about moving to Buffalo. Can I just talk to you? Sure, I'll talk to you. He and I talked for 20 minutes, half hour. He's living in Rochester now, comes to Buffalo about every other weekend. 2 weeks from now, the two of us are going to sit down and have coffee or a beer or something like that and see what I can do to help him get his name into the Buffalo market. I don't even know this kid. And I told him straight out, I'm not recommending you for anything. I don't know you. My recommendations are really important to me. I don't want to ruin my reputation because I don't know you. But if I get to know you a little better, I can certainly push you in the right direction with some people. I might be able to get you an interview, but then it's on your own. So I'm happy when I'm doing it. I do that for my students all the time. Of my 1,500 or 1,600 Facebook friends, probably a third of those are former students. After you graduate, then I'll take you as a friend. And I got a thing the other day from a young lady who's changed her major 3 or 4 times. She's like, can I just talk to you again? We're going out for coffee in a couple of weeks just to try to hash out. She has some really good plans, and I don't know what happened. So, like I said, I like to go out for coffee, drinks, whatever with people all the time. I sit down a couple of weeks ago. I put together a friend of mine from high school is a PhD in geology. He runs the Cornell Paleontological Museum or something like that. Out of Buffalo, he runs it. A student of mine who graduated a couple years ago has been to Alaska to study the geology on Mars, or Venus, I'm sorry, through a telescope there. Now he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. Got the two of them together. I sat there and pretended I knew what the heck they were talking about. They talked about rocks all night long, and Cameron, the student, got a whole bunch of good, actionable items from Don. I got a cold beer. So, worked out well for everybody, I guess. Networking events, I'm the happiest when I'm wandering around a network event and I'm shaking hands with people and I'm meeting people, I'm hearing their stories. I love that. And I tend to be the group organizer, the town crier. I'm the guy, like, when I see something that's like, oh, we're turning 50 next year, we got to have a party for that. Get all my fraternity brothers down to Springfield, Ohio in October. We're working on putting together every year, twice a year. One of the girls that I went to high school with, she lives in Vegas. She comes back because she has family here. I put together the Facebook page. We're going to this bar at this time. Come on out. You know, I'm the guy who's in charge of that kind of stuff. So I'm happy when I'm doing that. I have 2 big projects going on right now in my life, other than school stuff. West New York Events started as a website I started. I was in charge of booking the speakers for St. Mary's for 10 years, and there's no good place in Western New York to find a list of speakers. Started a website. I'm connecting speakers with people who need speakers. And then we expanded it. I didn't feel like I could make any money off that. so we said, what if we had entertainers? I'm like, okay, so speakers and entertainers. And I'm like, you know what? Still not big enough? What if somebody needs a porta potty? Any event need you can get. You can get it from my website. I think Missy found me through that website to be able to bring me here. So it works. The second thing is I'm working on a program right now called Kidpreneur. That's the working title because I think that might, the web address is gone. And what I'm trying to do is connect kids with entrepreneurs because kids don't ever get to talk about entrepreneurship. In school, we teach the kids, do your classwork, get your good grades, go to college. Get your good grades, graduate from college, go work for somebody else until you retire, and then sit around and worry about whether you got enough money in your 401k. Right? We don't teach them how to go out to business on their own, and I am learning very quickly that every kid is not cut out for college, every kid is not cut out for high school. You know, they got to pay their dues there, but every kid is not cut out for working for somebody else. There's a real entrepreneurial spirit, and as I said here, we're in a DIY world now. You know, as I was saying, I didn't know anything about publishing a book. It took me half a year to write it, and 2 years, and another year and a half to get it published because I entered everything into the Amazon website myself. It was a pain in the neck. It didn't work. I had to go to the forum, but I published a book. 7, 8 years ago, I wanted to produce a CD. Got another guy, we produced a CD. It's awful. Not one song on it's any good. But we produced a CD. Right? I mean, we're in that world. The technology's fantastic. You can do whatever you want. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here. So I see y'all sitting there, you're like, yeah, what's in it for me? Talking about all this connection stuff. There's a couple things in it for you. 2 different things. They're on this page. Your job is connecting. It's what you do every single day. You are connecting the right kid with the right school. And sometimes the system doesn't let you do it the right way because you need to connect a kid with your school. And like I said in my keynote, it's great that you all come together once a year to be able to put that competition aside, be able to share ideas and stuff, because I firmly believe in the whole rising tide lifts all boats. So if you can get more kids in the right schools, more kids in the SUNY system as a whole, that makes all of your jobs, if there's a bigger pool, makes all of your jobs easier. But your job is connecting people. It's what you do. People do business with people they like. If I teach you how to connect with people and people like you, you become the person that they think about immediately when it's time to look at college. You can connect with people on a level that has nothing to do with college. You can connect with people at a club or a church or whatever. If you make them like you, they will come to you when it comes time for college. And the more connections, the more opportunities. Whether that is an opportunity to get a kid in your school, or whether that's an opportunity to be a chairman of the board, or a volunteer for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, or any of those kind of things. Missy asked me to talk about leadership. And leadership comes from A, having an opportunity, and B, stepping into that opportunity. You have to be willing to step up into it, and you have to be able to see that it's there. Okay? All right, so why don't people connect right now? Why isn't every single person connected? On that same sheet of paper that you just jotted down, on those characteristics, think about a reason or two why people don't connect. I got 3 big reasons that people don't connect. And you may come up with more. Who wants to share an idea? Why don't people connect, you think?
I feel like people that don't connect don't really want to learn about the other person.
Okay.
They would be all about themselves.
That's my number 1 reason, is that they don't find value in it. Right? There's no connection of value. Maybe it's selfishness. Maybe it's just living in your own world. They don't find any value in it.
Standoffish or not approachable.
Standoffish, not approachable. That's part of personality based. Right? Anybody else?
sometimes they're just intimidated. They may not know how to just have a random conversation with someone they don't even know.
Right. That is the biggest one to get by. The second thing that I put is that people don't have time. Right? They say that they don't have time to do it. I don't have time to do that. And I have to get junior soccer practice. I have to pick up Susie from dance. I have to make the pork chops. I got to get the laundry done. I got to write the keynote. I got to do this. I got to do that. They don't see the time for it, and it's not a priority for them to be able to get out. And the last one, like you said, it's fear. People are 100% afraid of, if I walk up to this person right here and introduce myself, they're going to think I'm a goof. Right? They're going to think I'm a stalker. I watched way too much Criminal Minds last week. So you know, I mean, that's an unfortunate truth of the society we live in, is that people are afraid. I grew up in the 70s and the 80s. You know my whole life story right now, except for the part where my mother was like, it's sunny out, get out of here, I'll see you at dinner time. And we could ride our bikes from here to SUNY Plattsburgh and back if we wanted to, so long as when it was dinner time I was sitting at the table, there was no questions asked, right? As long as, and I mean, there was another part of it that my father then marched down the street and said, if he does anything wrong, beat him. You know, so there was every person in the neighborhood was authorized to beat me, so that changed what we did, you know. Luckily, nobody had to beat me up. So when we talk about fear, fear is the thing that always stands between your opportunity, between what you want to do, and your goals. Fear is the thing. It's the number one reason that people don't do a lot of things. I've got a chapter in my book about how we let fear get in the way of things. We're afraid. I can't tell you how many times I ask a question, and I can look right at the student, and I know the student has the right answer, and they absolutely will not raise their hand. And I'm not the guy that's going to put those kids on the spot. I'm not. I'd love to tear it out of them, I would, but you got to find better ways to do it than putting them on the spot. But I'm mortified when they happen. They're afraid. They're afraid their friends are going to laugh at them. They're afraid they're going to have the wrong answer. And who cares? Okay, so here's the workshop part of things. That was introduction up to it. I'm going to teach you 5 different ways to connect, and each one of them has a bunch of things underneath them. Okay, so these are things that are reproducible. These are things that I do almost every day. I do them unconsciously. One of the first chapter of my book is about habits and doing things unconsciously. These are things I drive people crazy, and I absolutely know when I walk into almost any place, I bump into people I know. Drives Adam crazy, drives his mother crazy. It's like, you think we could just have dinner without people walking up and saying hi to you? It's just, and my dad was always like that. I used to notice that about my dad. So maybe there's a little trickle down going on there. So the first thing is, number one, you have to plan to connect. I'm big on planning. It takes so little time. Everybody thinks that it takes so much time. It doesn't. I spend about maybe an hour around Christmas time planning things for the new year. I do it again during the summertime. I have the luxury in my world of having 2 New Years, like New Year's of the calendar year and New Year of the school year, where I have some time off where I can reflect and I can think about it. So I am a planner. I love to sit down and come up with goals and break them into chunks and be able to do that. Business cards are not dead. I don't care what anybody says. Get yourself some business cards. They don't. Here's a thing that I'm going to say, and I hope that this doesn't get me in trouble or Jessica in trouble or whatever. Is that your connection it can have nothing to do with the school that you work for. It's often better if it doesn't. Business cards right now, I just got like 250 business cards for like $6 through Vistaprint or one of those. I don't even know who I got it through. There's some higher end ones that you can pay up to $10 or something like that. Your business cards. Take them with you. Just have them in your pocket. You know, I mean, it's you never know who you're going to bump into. Have your business cards in. Networking events. Networking events are the worst thing ever. They're terrible because their purpose is all wrong. You're only at a networking event to get something for yourself. But they're a necessary evil. Right? You got to go to them. You gotta do it. So make the best of it. Go to networking events when you can. Try to go to the networking events that are going to put you with people that you want to meet. There's a lot of things that I avoid. I was very active in politics for a while, and you would have to wrap a chain around me and put it in my car to drag me to a political event, because I think the politics in our country are so toxic. And I don't want that toxic stuff in my world. But if you want to take me to a networking event for authors or college admissions professionals, those kind of things, those are people that I want to be hanging around with. And neither one of those things, well, I mean, the author thing is something that affects my life, but, you know, hanging out with you guys, I had some great conversations all day long. There's a couple people I probably will correspond with after I leave this, but people that I bumped in, Megan and I grew up 250 yards away from each other. I knew her when she was this small, and I bump into her here, and she's the admissions assistant director at the school my son is graduating. Small world. Community service. Community service is a networking event with a purpose. You're trying to make the world a better place. There are literally so many opportunities for you to get involved in community service, of small scale, of large scale. It makes absolutely no difference. The amount of time that you put, you can give at an event. You're at a place with people of like mind who want to make a neighborhood better, a school better, a kid's life better, whatever. You're in a place with where things are going to happen. Hey, we're going to run this fundraiser tonight. Hey, we're going to plant these trees. Can you call Home Depot and see if you can get some shovels done? Can you see if you can get somebody to deliver those trees? Those are all leadership opportunities for you to step up. And every one of these opportunities is also an opportunity for you to impress people. And if you impress people, you're the person they want to go to. Impress people. You spend every minute of your day trying to impress people. And I take it sometimes to extremes. I want to impress my son. I want to impress my wife. I want to impress my friends. I want to do things to help them out as well. Impress people is a key to being able to step forward into a leadership position. Church, political events, any of those school board meetings, you know, all of those things. There's all of these opportunities for you to go, offer your ideas. Your ideas are the stock and trade. That's your commerce now. We live in an information society. Your ideas are your commerce. That is the tool that gets you the money that fills your bank account. Okay? For you, the best thing for you to be involved is things with high school age kids. Because those high school age kids are going to enter your funnel at some point in time. So if you can coach youth soccer or youth sports, cheer, if you can direct a play at your church, at a school, if you can go talk to schools. We have an outside lawyer who comes into our school to do the mock trial stuff because none of us are lawyers. We win because we have a lawyer as our moderator. So there's all sorts of opportunities for you to do all sorts of things. You just have to plan it. You have to plan to do it. You have to get it in your calendar that you're going to go to the school board meeting, that you're going to call the school and say, hey, my thing is fly fishing. I really like to talk to the environmental club. Almost every time, people on the other end are going, yes. Because we have to teach the classes all day long, and then we have to come up with something for the clubs and stuff like that. And sometimes that's hard to figure out what the club is going to do next. So when people call and say, hey, can you do this? We're like, very happy. Second thing, number 2, way for you to connect. Expert advice. You give it. Don't get it. Give it. Become an expert in something. And every one of you is already, by the way. Every one of you is an expert in something. It might be parenting. It might be that. There are people who are tripping over themselves wanting advice from parents because they don't know how to deal with their kids. I deal with them every day until I can hand them to you. And then you have to do it. Right? I mean, some of these poor kids, almost every one of the kids in my school that has trouble is coming from a place where the parent isn't able to do their job. Buffalo City schools are a disaster. The Buffalo City schools are a disaster because the parents failed out of school at 15, 16, 17 years old. And then they had kids. And when they had kids, they didn't know how to parent because they didn't have it from the school system on the front side. You can help. You can help parents parent. You can help kids by being mentors. You can do any of those kind of things. It doesn't have to be related to putting kids in college classrooms. It doesn't have to be that at all. You want to connect with people about your passion. Photography club, ski club, any of those kind of things. One of my engineer buddies is involved in a photography club. I didn't even know there was such a thing. It's his passion. He loves to do it. He's actually the guy that took the picture for the back of my book. I called him one day and I was like, dude, pull out all those expensive cameras. Let's see if they work. We went over there, and he and his beautiful wife, who I adore, the two of them, a windy day, were standing out next to his chimney because I wanted the brick behind it. He'd go click, she'd go. He'd go click, she'd brush my hair down, click. He gets all this equipment that he gets to use as part of his rental. You can do any of these kind of things. Exercise your passion, you're at a gym or the YMCA. Any of those kind of things, you can become an expert in those things. And when I say become an expert in those things, I don't mean you got to go back to school and get your PhD. I mean, look at the internet. Be willing to share your experience on it. That's being an expert. When I'm talking about that, I'm not talking about getting your postdoc and you know, those kind of things. Never easier to share information than it is nowadays. I don't even know what this one is. No idea. I looked at a chart and I was like, somebody give me a chart of what all the social media buttons are, and that one's not on. I don't know what it is. But all of these, and they do different things. They do different things. Video. Facebook, LinkedIn. LinkedIn's your professionals thing. Like, I post a fair amount on LinkedIn these days because I'm trying to get people like yourselves to say, come talk to us. That's where LinkedIn is good. I would never post a picture of my pulled pork sandwich on LinkedIn. I only do that on Facebook. Pinterest. A guy told me straight out, you want to sell your book, the type of book you got, you have to advertise on Pinterest. I haven't figured out how to advertise on Pinterest yet. It's a different kind of platform altogether. But he feels like the people that my book demographic is that I'm trying to hit, Pinterest is the place where those people are going to be. So here's all the different ways right now. And notice the bottom. Every one of these things has a free service that will do that for you. Free service. My book did not cost me a penny, except I decided that I wanted somebody better than me to design the cover, because I think covers sell books. And what I did was I reached to one of my connections. I had one of my former students who's a graphic designer, and I called her up and I said, hey, can I buy you lunch? I want to talk to you about this thing. She said absolutely. She was working for a magazine in town called Buffalo's Free. It's our highest quality, glossy magazine in town. So she was working downtown. I said, I'll meet you at this restaurant, buy you lunch, I'll tell you what I want to do. So we get done and she's like, I'll do it for free. And I said, no, you're not doing it for free. I'm doing this project to make money. I can't pay you like you're getting a book from Random House, but I can give you a couple $100 for it. So for $250, she did the front and back cover and designed the bookmark, which there's bookmarks on the table out there, so please stop and grab one of those if you're interested in that. It's got all my blog information on it as well if you're interested in stopping by the blog and seeing some of the things that I'm doing. YouTube videos. My son is in the back with his video camera. This is going to probably, or pieces of this is going to end up in some sort of YouTube video. For free. Podcasts. I have a former student of mine. Again, he and I are in contact all the time. Started a podcast called The Traveling Cup. It started out being for coffee-loving entrepreneurs. And now he's interviewed in the past year people like Seth Godin, who's a marketing, top-tier marketing thought leader. He's interviewed people like Pat Flynn and Dory Clark. These are all big names in the industry. He's doing it out of his. He made his own stand-up desk. He's like, dude, I'm getting fat. I got to have a stand-up desk. He took a paper box, put it on his desk, and put his laptop on top of it. Right? This is the people that are, and he's talking to guys like Seth Godin because he wants to do it. He wants to be a radio star. He can do it on his own. There's multiple. If you got a Mac, I think GarageBand is for free. If you've got a PC, Audacity is for free. A blog is easy. You can get a blog through WordPress. for free, or Tumblr, or any of those for free. You can share information on anything. Blog posts are great because they don't have to be more than Seth Godin. This guy who's making millions of dollars a year, his blog posts are generally less than 50 words. I almost get to the end and I'm like, dude, you gotta give me more. Right? And he finishes up the thing, 50 words. How long would it take you to write 50 words about something that you're passionate about? Driving traffic, connections. Okay? Microblogging. Microblogging is what Seth Godin does. But microblogging, the word is more like Facebook or Twitter. In Twitter, you got 140 characters to get your message out. All of those things are true. And there's all sorts of cool tools now. I subscribe to this thing called Tweet Jukebox. It basically, I filled it up with 200 quotes from people that I'm inspired by, and I just turn it on. And about every 3 hours, it tweets something automatically for me. My numbers just keep going like this. They get more and more and more because this thing is running on the side and I don't even have to do anything. Now I'm going to go home and tweet about the SUNYCAP conference because this was cool. And I want people to see that I'm doing cool stuff. You know, so I'll do that. I don't have to turn off the jukebox to do that. Again, free. Email newsletter, not news, MailChimp, free. You can put on a newsletter about anything you want. Photography, fishing, cooking. If any of you are interested in putting together a newsletter for cooking with diabetics, I would love that because I am tripping over myself with my mom because I don't know what to feed her. She's a late stage diabetic and I don't know what to do with it. So sign me up for your mailing list if you're doing cooking for diabetics. All of those things are free. Great ways to connect. Here's some things you got to do if you're going to jump into that realm. You have to interact with people. You have to do that. That's a connection point. If you're just lurking, I put here, lurk, don't work, right? You can't just sit there and watch things. You have to engage. You have to answer questions. You have to ask questions. Asking questions is a great way to start conversations, right? It's a great way to start conversation with people. You know, if we're talking here today, great way to start the conversation is, what school are you at? Oh yeah, that's up there, right? So questions are a good place to start. You got to like and share. If you like and share something, people will like and share your stuff. And all of those kinds of points of connection. Now, here's the thing. This is one way of connection. Maybe electronic is not your thing. Maybe it's too impersonal, and that's okay. I happen to like it a lot, basically because I get to just toss out my thoughts on things. And you know, when I'm talking to my students, they just kind of stare at me like, when I do it on Facebook or Twitter, I might get an answer. All right, so I enjoy the electronic thing. You might not. So this is just one way that you can get involved in this kind of stuff. You want to follow